Hi there, your computer friend Connie here with another Excel quick tip for you. This one is on finding the beginning or the end of your spreadsheet so you can continue adding more to it and finding if there's any empty areas that you haven't typed into. So maybe any blank cells, you're missing some information. So let's look at the scenario. So here in this example, I'm not sure how long this actual spreadsheet is. I want to continue adding to it. So rather than scrolling to find the end of it, or scrolling for days as I like to call it, we're going to go Control End. So hold the Control key down on your keyboard and then hit the End key, E-N-D. So Control End finds the last column that was typed into and then the last row that was typed into. Control End. So now if I want to go back to the beginning of my spreadsheet, which is actually the very first cell, A1, Control Home always takes me to that first cell, A1. It'll always be exactly the same place. Doesn't matter what row I'm on, what column I'm in, Control Home always takes you home. So it takes you to that first cell. Control End will change though. If I add more data, it's going to make that ending point further down or further across. So let's just test that theory out. Control End takes us to row 43 and column J. Let's say I want to add in a couple of more lines of data. I'm just going to copy this here. I know it's the same thing, just pretend it says something more interesting than that. So I've added in a whole bunch of extra lines. Now let's go Control Home to go back to the beginning, and then Control End to see where that ends. And it's going to end wherever that last line was typed into. Okay, so that's finding the beginning and the end of your spreadsheet. Now let's look at how do I move around within my spreadsheet data, and how do I find if there's any missing areas, any missing data. So we're going to go back up to the top, Control Home. And if I want to just start by looking at my first column of information, I have the type of course that I'm offering. And if I want to go to the very bottom of this column to see, let's see how far this column goes, I'm going to go with the Control key and now hit the arrow key. So Control arrow down lets me move to the very last piece of typing that's in that data block is what I'm going to call it. So consecutive typing. It finds blanks. So in this case, I'm going to scroll a bit because I want you to see there is a blank underneath that piece of data. So if I go Control arrow down again, it's going to continue. So it finds the next piece of data, and then Control arrow down again, finds the end of that data. So it finds the beginning of the data, the end of the data. And I kind of think of it as finding the blanks because it's finding where there's it actually stops before the blank. And that could be a blank cell, a blank row, doesn't matter. It stops where there is a blank. So I'm gonna try this again with you. And this time I'm going to go to the hours column. I know I've missed typing in some hours here. So how do I find that missing data? I'm just going to go Control arrow down. Oh, and there's my first blank. So I'll fill that in. Now Control arrow down again, finds my next blank. So I'll type that in. Okay, so that's kind of one of the reasons I would use the control arrows to kind of find those blanks or move up and down within my data column. In this case, within my data columns. So Control arrow down, move down. Let's go Control arrow up. That moves to the very top of that column of data. And now, just to keep using the arrows, let's just see what the other arrows do. So we did Control arrow up, Control arrow down. Let's try the Control right arrow, and then we'll try the Control left arrow. So you probably know what it's going to do. Control right arrow goes to the end of the data to the right. Control left arrow goes to the end of the data to the left. So if I were to type something in column R here, and now I'm going to go back to Control arrow to the left and Control arrow to the left. So it kind of goes to the beginning of that data, end of that data, and then it finds a new data if there is any. So in this case, if I was wondering, I wonder if there's anything else in the spreadsheet that maybe I can't see on my screen at this time, I'm going to go to the end of that row, Control arrow to the right, and then I'm going to go and now I'm thinking, okay, that looks like it's the end, but is it? Is there anything else? And we're going to go Control arrow to the right, and we see that there's something else. So it's just kind of a neat feature. I love these keyboard shortcuts. I hope you do too. They've saved me tons of time. I know you can use your mouse and see things on your screen when you have a little bit of data. Like this example here isn't that big. But as you get larger and larger spreadsheets, you're going to appreciate having these shortcuts and being able to move around faster. So if you're looking for any more tips, please join us in our Facebook group. We'd love to have you learn more from us, more technology tips, because we know you're just a click away from saving hours in your day. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy these shortcuts. Bye-bye.